Hello everyone. I'm going to go over the Duelist champion with zombies and 3 curses. The 3 curses are temporal chains, punishment, and despair. I'm going to go over the ascendancies first, and there's really not much to say about the ascendancies except for they're extremely good. I would say that the Duelist champion is one of the best zombie minion builds in the game that you could have. I believe it's up there in the top 3 with the occultist and the juggernaut. But let's move on up. If here's the ascendancy tree nodes. These first 3 are for defensive, and this is the offensive one. If you were going to start a new league, I would definitely try to get fortitude first, and then work my way to first to strike, last to fall, and then finish off with the DPS one. So let's start where the Duelist begins. So pretty much you're gonna start off and you're not gonna be really powerful as a minion build. You have a really bad starting area, I'm gonna admit. But overall, the end product of what you can make is extremely good. If I were to start this build in a new league, I would work my way up without taking this node right here and try to get all the way up to Grave Pack, and then I would try to get to Grave Pack and then work my way up to Redemption, Righteous Army, and then all the way up to Death Attunement. After that, it's pretty much up to you, but just make sure that you get Iron Reflexes, Adamant, in these nodes before you hit the end game. And you're definitely going to need all the mana reservation nodes for this build, unfortunately. Well, not all of them, but pretty close to all of them. You just won't have leadership. So, you don't need that. So, you got Corruption. It has my favorite jewel in the game, the front line. So pretty much DPS, you got a lot of minions. Again, this is one of the best zombie builds in the game. One of the best. So as you can see, the effective hit pool and everything is amazingly good, but no chaos. Cast resist is hard to get. It's really hard to get. So let's jump into configurations. You're going to be using the Chieftain Spectres for frenzy charges. You have 20 for fortified. You have adrenaline. You have elusive. You're a pretty defensive person with this build. Got consecrated ground, which gives you about 400 life regen, and then all this stuff, is just fluff. We got feeding frenzy. Now, if we change the enemy boss, you see some changes in the DPS, but the effective hit pool and the max hit for everything stays very high with the standard boss. Now with the pinnacle boss, it drops, but still very, very good. It's still very, very good. So let's move on over to the enemy is low life. We have this on because we're using punishment in this build, and when an enemy gets low life, it does more damage. I believe that kicks in at 35%. So if you take it off, your DPS drops by half. But with the new expansion coming out, I believe our DPS will be higher on pinnacle bosses and guardians. So don't take this number like, don't take it to heart. We got 8 withered stacks. You could always get more withered stacks. There's an enchant from the labyrinth that'll allow you to get more stacks, and you can also use enhance or empower with withering step to increase it more. So increasing it is very good for you to do. It gives you a lot more DPS and damage for poison and for this build. Let's go back to 8. And your enemy is on consecrated ground. So I'm going to jump into the skills now. We have Phantasmal Zombie. You really don't need Phantasmal. It's a luxury. It's pretty good. Multi-strike, you don't need Awaken. You don't need Awaken for any of these. And if you see an Empower and Enhance, you could always just get level 3 for it to begin. You know, no one's going to start off perfect. No one's going to start off super powerful. So everyone's got to work up and build their character up. So we definitely can use multi-strike normal and all the rest of these normal gems. So let's jump to the ring that has punishment. And then the chest. Where is the chest? Here's the chest. The chest is designed to increase the curses, which will be beneficial in 3.20, and it works now if you really want to use it in 3.9. I mean 3.19. So you got temporal chains. Really, you could tell the curses here, but this helps a lot, and this helps a lot too. You know, I'm sure I could change Molten Shell somewhere else for enhance, increase the damage of poison and increase the damage of curses. So as there's always going to be another way to do something. There's always going to be another way. Alright, the items. The cane, I use this in every build. I think it's the best staff in the game for minions, hands down. The helmet, you could follow the helmet stats if you want to. It's pretty good, but the stats are not very good. The implicits, you probably would want to have a despair, increased despair for your implicit on here, but all the rest of the stats are pretty good to stay with. You might want to get more max life on your helmet too, but I try to test stuff, and I don't really have all the best gear at the time when I'm testing or when I'm playing, and I don't believe everybody else will have the best gear at the time either. So I put up builds that I believe are good enough for other people with the gear that I'm using. So if you see something that's out of the ordinary and you're like, wow, this doesn't seem right, I could definitely get something better than this, then you're right, you probably can, because I'm not making it perfect. And the chest, I believe, is wrong too. The elemental resist implicit is right, but the unique enemy presence, I'm not too sure, but I think you could get more despair damage on here. All the rest of the stats are good. You definitely want to have this chest because of the minions have 60% chance to poison enemies. This item is very cheap as well. This one is it's not that expensive, semi-expensive. This is what changes all your damage to poison. You want to make sure that every socket is white. So if you can't get 4 white sockets to begin with, try to get 3 or 2. Give yourself a little bit more damage with chaos damage. It'll help a lot. This item and this item are really good in the beginning of the game if you could get them early. The boots are just a normal legendary, nothing special about them. You could get them at level 33. This will definitely be hard to get because it drops off to the Shaper and Elder fight. And here's the thing. You don't need to have Despair and Temporal Chains, the necklace, like right off the bat. You could just get the Despair one and you'll be good. Because you could always use the Profane Proxy ring to add another curse on there for free. So the idea is to work your way up to this necklace. The necklace, I've gotten really good deals on these necklaces, but I am not too sure that's going to stay the same with 3.20. The Behemoth ring, it's pretty good ring. I'm sure that you'll be able to find a bone ring just as good as this one. This is pretty easy to get as well. You can require it at level 5. The belt is my favorite. What it does is it allows your zombies and specters to use the flasks that you have on you, and it increases the damage of them significantly. And I love it. I just love the whole gameplay. I love the whole idea behind it. I just find it really fun. Who wants to heal themselves with potions anyways, right? So the jewels, you got the front line. This is one of my favorite. Is it not on right now? Oh, yeah, it's on. So the front line is for defense. This is used for the gaze. This item, you want to try to get 5 ghastly eye jewels so you can increase the damage of your time multipliers. So pretty self-explanatory. Get the gaze and then get 5 ghastly eye jewels, or try to. You don't need 5, just get a couple of them. This will happen later on around the level like 80s to 90s. This is like one of the last things you're going to do. So Intuitive Leap might be kind of expensive. It might be like 1 divine now, but it should be pretty easy to get. This shouldn't be too hard to get either. You could get a different one too. I have Chaos Resist with Purity of Elements. I use Purity Elements a lot in my builds because I do not like to get ignited and dotted, and I don't like being slowed by crap on the floor. So I always use Purity of Elements, and it gets rid of all that stuff. And it has phasing while you have haste. Phasing is where you could run through creatures. So you could, if you want to make it perfect, you would add Purity of Elements, makes you unaffected by elemental weakness. That would be a perfect one if you ask me. But you could remove the haste and get the Purity of Elements, removes elemental weakness. So we went over skills, we went over items, we went over the tree, we went over the configuration. So what's left to talk about? Well, I guess I could talk about how I play it. All right, let me jump in here. So at the moment right now, this character is level 87, and I'm gonna try to like break it down to you how I'm playing it in a map. So I'm gonna just jump into a map. As you can see, it's not an easy map. Tier 15, a lot of stuff going on in this map. Alright, we're loading up. So, I got this. I'm gonna pop this off, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to make sure that my minions always stay close enough to me. And that's why I use conviction on all my builds. And like when you see trouble coming, you just hit molten shell. You can also oh, this thing right here, phasing allows you to run through that as well as creatures. See, if you drop your health, you got your molten shell, and you should be good for a while. You can also, like, another thing is that if you use Withering Step, I'll show you right now. I'm going to use Withering Step. You see it's going, but if you use another ability while you have it on, while it's still going, it will remove that effect. And I believe in the patch notes they said that you will not be able to use Withering Step until the Withering Step elusive buff has worn off. It doesn't really matter because I don't use it anyways, unless I'm fighting a boss like right now. So, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, be safe and be careful. Have a nice day.